this would be 30 seconds. One of the things I've kind of been active in is, of course, the F-35s. Montpelier, our 3 congressional delegates all enthusiastically supported bringing the F-35s into the city of Burlington because they think anything military is a good idea, which I think pretty much anything military is a bad idea, just a proven record. But it's $2 billion plus project. It's going to be louder, and the main thing, if you're talking to anybody about this project, which we now have almost 800-900 people signed up in opposition to this, the reason Burlington got chosen as a site for the F-35s is because we have clean air. And which means, according to EPA, the excess pollution that the F-35s will bring over the F-16s, we can still absorb it and will be below their threshold, which they consider healthy, unhealthy. Okay, and that's why we were chosen, because we have clean air. The reason they pollute more is they're kind of like a high-performance car. They use twice, it's like a gas mileage thing, they use twice as much fuel per minute as the F-16s. They're more powerful, faster, higher thrust, all that stuff. And many communities around the world have already rejected this plane because they're so loud. In Europe, they made them do a flyover in either Amsterdam or France, and it was so loud. It's 105 to 115 decibels on average, and 95, and if anybody knows about decibels, it's not an incremental, it's like a, what's the other thing?
Logarithm.
So it goes, it's like double, triple when it goes from 95 to 105. And 105 and 115 is like damaging to your ears. So there's a lot of reasons, and they're going to come out with this EIS report in about a month. Everybody in the mailing list I'll send, we're going to try to organize a big protest thing. Of course, the EIS report, environmental report, is going to say it's okay, there's no problem, everything's wonderful, because that's, who's writing it is the Department of Defense or the Air Force. So they're going to come in and say it's all great, and all of our, and I've written letters to Bernie Sanders. We've met with Leahy and Chuck Ross, Leahy's chief of staff, and there's no problem, everything's wonderful, it's not going to be as loud as you think, it's not going to pollute as much as you think, and it's not going to cost as much as you think, which we know is all a bunch of crap, because that's how they sell these things. But our biggest opposition to it really isn't the noise and the pollution, but that's the thing I think that tugs more at the heartstrings of the local population. To us, is the militarization of our state. It's bad enough really for a lot of people that we have the F-16s flying over in the show force a couple times a week, and now they're going to put a louder, more offensive, non-defensive plane. And all this plane is not used for defense. It's used to clean up in operations, basically drop 2,000-pound bombs that contain depleted uranium onto brown-skinned people all around the world. That's what they'll be used for, the same things that all the other planes are used for. So we're fighting on in many areas. We have people that talk about the military-industrial complex. We have other people that talk about the science of it and the pollution. And we have a pretty big group. We meet every Tuesday in Burlington if anybody ever wants to come. And probably in the next 30 days, we'll announce when the EIS meeting is. If anybody wants to come, that's the environmental impact statement that will be presented by the Pentagon or whoever does it. Yes?
Do we have the technology, the sound system that can just record one of those, replicate it, bring it into the meeting, flip it on, and let people listen to it?
I thought of that thing.
You get radio ads.
Theater, I know.
One little, to Stephen's point earlier, the Vermont legislature voted overwhelmingly to welcome the F-35 into Vermont. I contacted my legislators, and one who voted for it, my opponent, she disavowed and he pretended to have forgotten about it. My other opponent, because there's 2 seats for the state Senate, he said, Robert, when we're at war, we have to pull together. And we were told that this airplane would be quieter than the F-16. Well, there was only one person testifying to the legislature on that thing. So we've got to get into the State House and, tell them what's what. Things are being told to the legislature that just ain't true.
Right. It's $2 billion, and we could do a lot better things with $2 billion.
Oh.